Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today, we are going to be covering the new tier sets for Phase 8 in a deep dive, breaking down every single one of them for every single class and spec, giving some opinions, feedback, and, just whether or not I think it's going to be good or not, and what we might see for sort of builds coming up here with Phase 8. But before we do that, we have a few little small pieces of news that are quite major if you are someone who is trying to catch up and get ready for Phase 8. So the first one is we are here at our favorite place, the Undermined Real Trader in Booty Bay, right outside the Port Authority. And while there is no new crate for Phase 8 yet, chances are there will be. Every single class can now buy their BWL weapon quest for 150 reels. While 150 reels is the current cap right now, it is going to become 250 reels for Phase 8. So, you could be capped in the moment this drops on April 8th. You can come here and get your weapon if you are someone who doesn't have a really good wep. These weps they're not BIS, but they are all really, really good. And they're definitely usable for the entire expansion and as far as you want to go. Obviously, it is BWL gear, so like an AQ weapon or a Naxxramas weapon would be better than it, but these are still phenomenal weapons. And some of them, as you saw with the Paladin storyline, those quests are really, really enjoyable and really fun and filled with a lot of lore. So something you can definitely do there and enjoy as well. So anyway, just wanted to bestow that knowledge upon you guys and let you guys do the best decisions that you feel fit. So the next thing I want to do is now switch it over and talk about all of these awesome tier pieces that we are going to see, because these set bonuses are pretty good for what I can tell, and I just want to dive into them. So the first one we have is Druid. So your Starfire deals 20% more to targets with Moonfire, and your Wrath deals 20% more to targets with Sunfire. So sort of a reason to do both and sort of interact with those Eclipse type deals rotation that you see in Wrath of the Lich King. Your Star Surge now increases the damage of your next two Starfires. And then each time your Sunfire deals periodic damage, you gain 20% increased damage to your next Wrath, stacking up to 5 times. And each time your Moonfire deals periodic damage, you deal 20% increased damage to your next Starfire, stacking up to 5 times. So these bonuses do not apply to Star Surge. So this sort of is kind of exactly like the Eclipse, sort of like the Eclipse rotation that we see later on in the game, but without it actually being in there, is what I'm getting vibes of. Just utilizing Sunfire and Moonfire to make those happen. And I don't know how good it is, but I do know balanced Druids use like 3 to 4 different 2-set pieces to crank, and they look really funny right now for gear. Then we have Feral DPS. You gain 2 energy each time your Rake or Rip deals periodic damage. Multiplies the damage bonus from Tiger's Fury by 2, which is nutty. It's just twice as good. And then your finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point spent to trigger clear casting and extend the duration of your active Tiger's Fury by 6 seconds. So that is pretty huge. So you can pretty much have Tiger Fury up, it dealing double, and you're going to be getting energy while your bleeds are up. So pretty good on the Feral Druid Cat 2-set or 6-set. Druid Healers. Each time your life beam heals a target, it has a 5% chance to make your next healing touch, nourish, or regrowth within 15 seconds instant cast. Then targets with your active rejuvenation rank 10 or 11 receive 20% increased healing from your spells. So that's just so they don't rank 1 rejuve everyone. So really good to see that. They're getting good. They know the cheeses that we might bust out on them, so they're making it to be the highest ranks in the game. Your periodic heals from regrowth 8 or 9 have a 30% chance to spread rejuvenation on that target to all members of the party within 43.5 yards that are not already affected by your rejuvenation. So that's kind of insane. So like so Druids are really going to start being those raid healers that we see later on and passing all of these hots to everyone. Then we have our Druid tank one, which your melee and critical strikes in Dire Bear form grants you a shield lasting until canceled that absorbs physical damage equal to 25% of your attack power the next time you take physical damage. So Druid tank's already a phenomenal physical tank. Just got a whole lot better. That 2-piece is insane. Then increases the duration of your berserk by 15 seconds. And then your 6-piece is increase your attack speed for 10 seconds each time you deal a critical strike. Well, that is pretty nice. I'm not sure if you would go after it. I'm kind of thinking I might go 2-set AQ, 4-set Nax, and or like, so the 4-set Nax would be the shoulder enchant. I'd imagine we're getting our Nax tier as the shoulder enchants. I don't know if we are yet, but I think it'd be a really good one. And then I'd put that on my shoulders, run 2-piece Nax, and then I would run the 2-piece AQ set. But that's sort of what I'm feeling right now. I'm not sure, because that's like catnip essentially. So like, yeah, it's good, but like, your feral tank, like, you're not there to DPS, right? If this were to, increase your attack power by 30% when you crit, so you could get that shield even higher, that would make a lot more sense than increase attack speed to me. Because, like, to me, that success just like whatever. It's catnip essentially every time you crit, which is nice, but it's like, I'm not trying to DPS as a tank. I'm trying to tank as a tank. Next, we have Hunter. Your shots deal 20% increased damage to targets affected by your Serpent Sting. Your ranged attacks increase your attack power by 20%. And your multi-shot hits 2 additional targets. And your kill shot and chimera shot hits increase the damage done by your next multi-shot by 100%. So giving them a little bit of AoE and just some sort of flat percentage damage increases, which we love to see. So Melee Hunter, your 2-piece increases your strikes and Mongoose Bite to deal 20% damage to afflicted targets with your Serpent Sting or Wyvern Strike. Your melee critical strikes increase your attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds, and then increase the bonus damage from Raptor Fury by an additional 10% per stat. So, Melee Hunters with the Ashbringer are going to be cranking with that. It's actually pretty good. It's hard to judge, like, melee and, like, these just flat percentage ones. Like, I just imagine it's better than what we already have with the previous ones, because most of them are just that. Next, we have Mage, which Mage got a complete rework and changed from what it originally was data mined for, so I am happy with that, and it sort of appeases to all the specs, which is also really cool to see. So you can go Frost, you can go Fire, and Arcane's is pretty much a healer spec now, but you have those abilities to go either or, instead of just being hard locked to whatever your tier set makes you do. So your Living Bomb now deals damage every 1 second and will detonate if the target dies. That is insane for AoE. The biggest complaint I have in Nax is, like, as a mage, I just have to Arcane Explosion, even though it's not even that good as a fire mage, or I sit there and cast Flame Strike where I go So, like, having Living Bomb explode now if the target dies is so good. In addition, the effect of Glaciate from the rune Icelands now stacks up to 8 times, and your spell Frost grants 2 stacks each time it hits. So if people like Frost, that is decent for Frost as well, but I definitely think Fire gets the dub here. Then reduces the cooldown on your Frozen Orb spell by 20 seconds. Each time Glaciate is consumed, the cooldown on your Deep Freeze is reduced by a 1 second per stack consumed. Increases the chance for Arcane Blast to trigger Missile Barrage by 10%, and for Fireball and Frostbolt to trigger Missile Barrage by 5%. Reduces the cooldown on Fire Blast by 5 seconds, and Fire Blast now refreshes the duration of your Living Bomb on the target. So that means you only have to press Living Bomb once, and you can Fire Blast on cooldown, which is crazy fun. Then casting Deep Freeze increases the remaining duration of your Icy Vein spell by 8 seconds, and casting Pyroblast cancels 1 stack of the effect of your Balefire Bolt. So Mage just got a whole lot more interactive, and you got to pay attention to your procs for Hot Streak, and you got to pay attention to your Balefire. So, like, you'll go down to Balefire to 3, then you'll just cast a 4th Balefire, which is pretty cool. Definitely might take a little getting used to, and definitely might see some Balefire deaths for you guys. But I'm excited for this. It's definitely much better than what we saw. And you might not even go with the 6-piece and just go with the 4-piece and then the 4-piece from Naxxramas, because that pre-evocation for 45 seconds of 50% damage is just an insane buff already. Then we have your Mage Healer, reduces the cooldown of your arcane power by 90 seconds and increases its duration by 10 seconds. While arcane power is active, your chance to gain arcane tunneling is increased by 10%, and each cast of arcane blast reduces the remaining cooldown of mass regeneration by 1 second. Your arcane blast has a 10% chance to cause arcane tunneling. Arcane tunneling prevents your arcane blast effect from being consumed by the next other arcane damage spell you cast. In addition, activating arcane power resets the cooldown on your mass regeneration. So that is really cool. Rewind time also reduces damage taken by your target by 20% for 8 seconds. So that is huge. Mage healers actually get an external cooldown like we see with Barkskin, we see with Shamans. So really cool. Mage healers, I think this set is one of the best for them. They're going to be casting mass regen instead of regen. It looks really intricate and fun. Mage healer is honestly just too complex for me to play while I'm streaming and raid leading, so I'll never be able to do it, but it does seem really fun for people who want the most in-depth sort of deep dive rotation. Then we have Paladin. So Paladin DPS, while you have a two-handed weapon equipped, the Ashbringer, Crusader Strike and Exorcism grants you holy power, increasing your holy damage you deal by 20%, stacking up to 3 times. That sounds insane, because that's just a 60% damage boost, which is nutty. Then Divine Storm, Holy Shock, and Holy Wrath consume all your holy power, dealing 100% increased damage per holy power you have accumulated. So that's nutty. So essentially you're just going to Crusader Strike, Exorcism, get 3 holy power, and use Divine Storm. Very similar to a Cataclysm type rotation. Then your 6-piece consuming holy power increases your attack power by 10% per holy power consumed for 10 seconds. So yeah, holy ret paladins are going to be even more crazy, especially in PvP, because they're going to be able to build up that holy power, and then they're just going to explode on you even harder. It's going to be fun. Please give us horde paladins. Please, please, please. Paladin Healer. Healer 2-piece land hands also grants you 20% spell haste for 1 minute. Does that still get rid of your mana as a holy paladin? I'm not sure. If it does, then that's probably not very worth doing if your mana is just gone. Your Beacon of Light now also triggers when you heal your Beacon of Light target, but at a 50% reduced effectiveness. That I don't get that. But pretty good, I think. An additional 25% of your healing is transferred to your Beacon of Light target. So that's weird. So they reduces it by 50% and then it buffs it by 25%. That's I don't get that, but okay. You could have just made this 25%, and I guess it's just for the set bonus. I don't know. Then Paladin Tank, we have Shield of Righteousness, increases your block value by 30% for 6 seconds. Shield of Righteousness deals percentage damage increase to your total block chance. And then your Avenging Wrath no longer triggers forbearance, lasts 15 seconds longer, increases your block value by 30%. So just really going on those block value. I get very big Shaman Lightning Shield vibes from this, but pretty cool for Paladin Tank. Once again, please give us Horde Pallies. I'd love to be a Paladin Tank. Priest Revelation, your Mind Flay and Mind Seer no longer lose duration from taking damage during their channel. In addition, they deal 10% increased damage per other periodic shadow effect you have on the target, up to an increase of 30%. Your Mind Blast deals 50% reduced threat and gains 20% damage increase from each stack of Mind Spike on the target. So that is really good. Shadow Priests aren't going to pull threat anymore, so the 50% reduced threat is nice with all that. Then the damage done by your Mind Flay now increases the longer you channel the spell, and each time it deals damage subsequent will increase by 100%. This resets on a new channel. So you're really going to be inclined as a Shadow Priest to sit there and hard cast the Mind Flay for the full duration. Because I know they sort of like proc it a few times or have procced it during SOD. So like they've just kind of hit it once for 1 tick to get buffs. So it's kind of forcing them to lock in but do a lot more damage that way. Then we have Priest Healer. Your Surge of Light now also makes Prayer of Healing and Greater Heal instant casts, so that's kind of nutty. When you cast Power Infusion on a target other than yourself, you gain Power Infusion. The cooldown of your Spirit Redeemer is reduced by 30 seconds, and your healing is increased by 20% while your Spirit of the Redeemer is active. So I know Cher is going to love that. She always complains about having to just give PI to other people, so now she'll get PI herself. So I'm going to copy paste that and send it to her right after this video. And it's just awesome for all healer priests. Obviously they're not just there to PI the mages, they're there to heal, and they'll be able to benefit from Power Infusion since they're pretty much all forced to take it in any high-end guild. Then your Power Word Shield also instantly heals the target for 60% of the absorb value. So priest healers are going to be insane with these new reductions, and honestly probably close to unkillable. So when we see them in PvP, it's going to be very interesting. But also Power Word Shield is no longer just meh. It's going to have a big value and not just get instantly taken off. And that's more of a Nax problem, to be fair, with the Seal of the Non. It doesn't really scale well with absorb values without being insanely broken, so it's kind of useless in Nax. But hopefully we don't have the... I don't think Seal of the Non is going forward, but everything's sanctified in case you want to go backwards and do Naxxramas. Then we have Rogues. While Just a Flesh Rune is not active, your Backstab, Sinister Strike, and Saber Slash and Mutilate deal 10% increased damage per active poison or bleed effect, afflicting the target up to a maximum of 30%, which is really cool. It does say your poison or bleed effect, so you can't rely on like Warriors, Rends, or Deep Wounds to make that deal any more damage. So pretty cool there. Your poison and auto attack critical strikes have a 10% chance to grant you a combo point. That's awesome. So you can just get free combo points when your poisons or autos hit. So really cool for rogues to see that. Then increase ambush, eviscerate, crimson tempest, and envenom damage by 50%. If you're going with a bleed poison build, you're pretty much just going to press envenom already. But still nice to see you get an extra 50% on that. You sometimes use eviscerate depending on your other tier stats and things. Then rogue tanks. So your stacks of rolling with the punches also increase all damage you deal by 1%. I don't know how high rolling with the punches goes, but rogue tanks getting some love. We love to see that. Then your Blade Fury now also strikes a third target and increases your attack speed by an additional 10%. In addition, each combo point that you spin reduces the remaining cooldown on your Blade Fury by 0.5 seconds. Your rolling with the punches can now stack up to 10 times, but grants 2% less health per attack. At 10 stacks, each time you dodge, you will gain 15 energy. So that kind of answers that rolling with the punches can go up to 10. So you kind of get 10% damage bonus once you get your set. But honestly, I haven't played Rogue Tank. It's very new, and I feel like you really have to play it to know. So Rogue Tanks, definitely let me know if you enjoy this tier set, if you think it is good. It sounds good from reading it, and it sounds like it's building up with getting the 6th set, and you'll do more damage, you'll get more of that, and your 4th set also helps you crank. But the biggest problem Rogue Tank has always had is it's either too good or not good enough, and they haven't found that sweet spot for it yet. Next, we have Shaman, the other hero class that Alliance players should love to have also. Elemental DPS. When your Lava Burst strikes a target afflicted with your Flame Shock, rank 5 or 6, it also deals 1 pulse of Flame Shock's damage. So that's good. Lava Burst will crank even harder. Increases the chance to trigger your Overload by an additional 10%. Additionally, each time Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning damages a target, your next Lava Burst deals 10% increased damage, stacking up to 5 times. So you kind of want to stack up your... You want to get that 5 stack, then you want to hit him with the big Lava Burst, and it already has Flame Shock on it. So really cool to see that. When your Chain Lightning damages fewer than 3 targets, it deals a 35% increased damage for each target less than 3. Well, it looks like Ret Paladins have met their match, because Shamans are going to be able to do the same exact thing to you. So pretty cool with that. And single target, at least Shams are just going to stack up that 5 stack and then just hit you with a whammy. It has no duration, right? Like, same with Holy Power. Like, these two things, like, they really just want Shamans and Paladins to one-shot everyone, apparently. While Static Shock is active, Lava Lash, Lava Burst, and Storm Strike have a 100% chance to add charges to your Lightning Shield. While dual wielding, you will gain 1 charge, and while using a two-handed weapon, you will gain 2 charges. If charges exceed 9, Lightning Shield will immediately deal damage to your target instead of adding charges. So that's pretty interesting, going into that Lightning Shield build even harder. Reduces the cooldown of your Fire Nova totem by 50% and increases its damage by 150% and reduces its mana cost by 50%. And additionally, your Fire Nova totem activates instantly on cast. So just essentially enhancement shamans get blast wave. That's what that is right there. It's gonna crank, so good, because we've had so many totem problems in any gauntlet we have done, so I love to see it. I even tell them not to drop it, so now it'll just instantly explode, so thank God. Maelstrom weapon can now stack up to 10 charges. You will also gain 2 charges at the same time while wielding a two-handed weapon. Any excess charges will increase damage or healing dealt by the afflicted spell by 10% per excess charge. If you have 10 charge when casting an afflicted spell, all charges will be used and the spell will be instantly cast twice for 150% of normal damage or healing. Okay, enhancement is going to do that to people. Honestly, either is going to do that to people, but you can just stack up an insanely bursted blast, I guess. It's going to be nutty to watch Shamans crank, I'm not going to lie. They just have insane, like, they built them to stack up to massive effects and hit each other, and it's just going to be crazy. Shaman Tank, your shield mastery effect can now stack up to 7 times. Each time your lightning shield deals damage, you heal for 100% of the damage dealt, no more than once every 3 seconds. Okay, so that means Shaman Tanks won't be able to pull everything in existence anymore. Well, if they're using this, those probably still will be able to, but they can now, there's a limit to their healing. Your shield mastery stacks also reduce the cast time of your Lava Burst by 20% per stack. Lava Burst no longer consumes Maelstrom weapon charges, 3-second cooldown. So Shaman Tanks are going to be a lot more fun to get out there and solo everything for you guys. Healer 2-piece. Heals from your Earth Shield have a 25% chance to make the next time you heal instant cast. Your Healing Wave and Lesser Healing Wave will also heal your Earth Shield target for 50% as much if that is a different target. So that, okay, so it's like Beacon of Light essentially. Your Chain Heal jumps to 1 additional target, and its magnitude reduces 20% less per jump. So Chain Heal is going to be even more, and now Shaman's going to essentially just heal both tanks with Healing Wave or Lesser Healing and have the Earth Shield on the other one. So that's really good. Shaman healers are going to enjoy that. Then we have the Warlock set. The 2-piece bonus, your Shadow and Fire non-periodic critical strike cause the target to burn for 25% of the damage they deal over 4 seconds. Very interesting. Your Incinerate, Shadow Bolt, Haunt, Chaos Bolt, Shadow Cleave, and Soulfire deal 30% more damage to targets affected by your corruption. I'm just not sure why they didn't just make everything deal 30% more on targets affected by your corruption, because that's pretty much all the key rotation spells that you use as a DPS Warlock. Your periodic critical strikes grant 15% spellcasting haste for 15 seconds, and your backdraft grants an additional 15% casting haste. So this is also another reason, on top of the gear having a ton of haste on it, that trinket that we highlighted yesterday to ignore the global cooldown, that's really good because Warlocks and Mages are hitting GCD cap, so that trinket is even more valuable. Your Shadow Cleave now applies your Corruption rank 7 to every target it hits, but its duration is only 12 seconds. You heal for 10% of all damage done by your Corruption. This healing is increased to 100% if the target is also affected with your Drain Life. Your Infernal Armor now also increases all magical damage you deal by 20% and lasts an additional 10 seconds. So Warlock tanks might be making a comeback with all that. Then finally, we have Warrior, which from the Warrior Discord, I know you Warriors are very, very happy, and on Horde, you'll probably be getting the Ashbringer. So its DPS increases Heroic Strike, Cleave, Quick Strike damage by 20%, and your cleave strikes one additional target and can trigger Blood Surge. Each time you hit a target with Whirlwind, Heroic Strike, Quick Strike, or Cleave, the damage of your next slam is increased by 20%, stacking up to 5 times. If you are wielding a two-handed weapon, the Ashbringer, you will gain 2 stacks each time. So that's kind of weird because it only stacks up to 5. I would like that to stack up to 6, honestly, because you're getting 2 stacks, so it should be... Anyway, each time Deep Wounds deal damage, it reduces the remaining cooldown on your Whirlwind by 3 seconds. Whirlwind deals 50% increased damage to targets afflicted with your Deep Wounds. So that is really cool. So warriors are going to have lots of fun pressing all their buttons. Then we have Warrior Tank. Your Shockwave deals 100% increased damage, and its cooldown is reduced 2 seconds each time you hit a target with Heroic Strike, Quick Strike, or Cleave. Your Recklessness, Retaliation, and Shield Wall abilities no longer share a cooldown. Additionally, your Recklessness ability lasts 15% longer, and while it is active, you gain 50% of your defensive skill over 300 as Strength. That is crazy. Gladiator Stance no longer reduces your armor or threat and instead increases threat by 30%. In addition, each time your Revenge, Devastate, or Shield Slam hits, the damage done by your next Whirlwind Execute is increased by 20%, stacking up to 5 times. I think warrior tanks are going to be insanely broken. That just sounds like they're going to do a shitload of damage at no reduction to their tanking capabilities. We'll have to see where they sort of line up with all the other ones. Right now in Nax, most tanks are pretty balanced, but I think warriors definitely got the most love here with that. So honestly, I'm really stoked with all these tier sets. I think it is going to be really... They did a really good job with the bonuses, especially after getting our feedback and tweaking. And one more final thing that's really cool that I want to show you guys is these new dragons have been data mined, which is the Time Lost Proto, the Red Proto, and I think that might be the Violet Drake. They're normally mounts, but they have been added, so it could be just... They're listed as rarely Dragonkin, so they could just be adds in a boss fight, but they also could be mounts that we get to mount up and ride also, so really cool dragon stuff. But this video is already long enough, so thank you guys for watching it all. I get asked about tier sets, so I wanted to make sure we had the time to break them down, go deep into them, and talk about all the awesome stuff they plan on doing. So anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.